What is going on, everybody? Got another video here for you. Today we are going to express this function here as a sum of a power series. Okay, and we're going to find the interval of convergence. All right, so we've got 3 f of x is equal to 3 over x squared plus x minus 2. So first thing we want to do is we want to factor the denominator. So when we go to factor the denominator, that's going to give us x plus 2 times x minus 1. All right, and as you probably guess, we're going to split this function here. We're going to split it apart using partial fractions. All right, so we've got 3 over x plus 2 times x minus 1, and that's equal to a over x plus 2 plus b over x minus 1. All right, so hopefully you still remember how to do partial fractions. If not, I'll kind of explain it a little bit as we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply each term by the common denominator. Okay. All right, so that's going to give us 3 is equal to a times x minus 1 plus b times x plus 2. And here we're going to let x equal negative 1, so that's going to give us 3 equals, when we plug the, I'm sorry, not negative 1, positive 1. So when we plug the 1 in, and I think when I put negative 1, I was looking at this right here, and the negative popped in my head for some reason. But anyway, plug in the 1, that's going to make this go to 0. 1 plus 2 is 3, so that's going to be 3b, and so we get b is equal to 1. And then we're going to let x equal negative 2. And so that's going to be 3 on the left side. This term's going to go to 0. Negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3, so that's minus 3a. So we're going to get a is equal to negative 1. All right, so now we're going to plug the 1 in for b and the negative 1 in for a. And so that is going to give us, I'm going to write it over here. That's going to give us 3 over x squared plus x minus 2 is equal to 1 over x minus 1 minus 1 over x plus 2. So I plug the 1 in here, plug the 1 in there, and the negative 1 in for a, and I just swapped them. You know, I just wrote this second, wrote this first. All right. All right, so let's see what we've got here. We've got this is equal to, now we want to rewrite it, or want to rewrite this function as a series. So we want to get it in this form, 1 over 1 minus r. Okay, this and this. Okay. All right, so I can rewrite this as negative 1 over 1 minus x. If I factor a negative 1 out here, it's going to make the minus 1 positive and the x negative, and then I just wrote it 1 minus x and the negative out here. And then that is going to be minus, all right, so let's see what we got to do here. Let's factor out a 2 from the denominator. So that's going to be 1 over 2 times, and when I do that, that's going to leave me with 1 plus x over 2. Okay. All right. And so then I can rewrite this as negative 1 over 1 minus x minus, and I'm going to write this as 1/2 times 1 over 1 minus negative x over 2. Okay, I'm rewriting the plus x over 2 as minus a negative x over 2 because, see, I need minus r. All right. All right, so now let's come over here, and this is going to be negative sum is equal n equals 0 to infinity of r to the n, so that's my x there, and then that's going to be minus 1/2 sum n equals 0 to infinity of what? Well, here's r, negative x over 2. So that's negative x over 2 to the n. All right. So we're getting there. We're getting there. So let's combine this into one summation instead of two separate ones. So this is going to equal, let's see, let's write this as n equals 0 to infinity, negative x to the n, minus 1/2 times negative x over 2 to the n. All right, so I just put it into 1 here. All right, so let's see what we can do here. How about if we factor out, I wrote a squared there, didn't I? That should be x to the n. What if I come up here and I write this as negative 1 minus 1/2 times negative 1/2 to the n, and all that times x to the n. So I just factored out a x to the n. See this negative x over 2 to the n, that's the same thing as negative 1/2 times x, all that to the n. And so that could be negative 1/2 to the n, x to the n. And so that's what this part could be. So I just this part here. And so I factored out that x to the n, and that's where the negative 1 is, and then I'm left with just the negative 1/2 to the n, and of course times this negative 1/2. Okay. All right. So we're getting there. We're getting there. And so now I'm going to have sum n equals 0 to infinity, and that's going to be, let's see what we got here. We've got, okay, so let's do a couple of steps here. I was going to do several steps here. This is going to be minus 1/2 to the n plus 1, and that's times x to the n. Okay, see, when you have like bases, you can that should be plus negative. See, when we got like bases here, negative 1/2. See, this is like this right here. Let me write this so you can see it. That's the same thing as plus negative 1/2, and that's to the first. So negative 1/2 to the first times negative 1/2 to the n, that's going to give us negative 1/2 to the n plus 1. Okay. And so let's go ahead and write this n equals 0 to infinity. And so this could be negative 1 to the n plus 1 over 2 to the n plus 1 minus 1. All right. And then times x to the n. And I'm happy with this. We can just leave it like that right there. Okay. All right. So now we want to look and find the interval of convergence. All right, so what we're going to do that, we're gonna look at let's see, what I want to look at this, and let's look at this one. So we know that this x here, that's like our r. So we know the absolute value of x has to be less than 1, which means that's -1 is less than x less than 1. So the interval of convergence for the first one is -1 to 1. And then we look at this part right here, this -x/2. So we know absolute value -x/2 has to be less than 1. So this means that absolute value of x has to be less than 2. Multiply by 2 absolute value, it's going to be positive. And so this means that x has to be between -2 and 2. Okay, but as you know, we've written this as this is a single power series here, so it has to apply to both of them, which is this one. So the interval of convergence is -1 to 1, which is this one right here. And there's the interval of convergence. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope it helped. Check out my other videos. Give me a like, share, subscribe, comment, and I will see y'all in the next one. Later.